Have you ever wondered why you need your C-file? Stick around, let's talk about it. All right, welcome back everybody. My name's Steve. I run Veteran here. It used to be called Becker & OK, and now I've changed it to be more specific about what the things are that we talk about, right? I'm a US Navy veteran, Gulf War era, so I know a little bit about some things here about the process of going through VA disability claims. And I want to talk to you today about your VA C-file. And I'm going to give you two aspects of it. I'm going to give you what's included in your VA C-file and then why you need it. And so stick around to the end. Let's make sure that you like, subscribe, share this so I can get the word out to more veterans and help them out. Let's jump right in. I've got some notes down here on my iPad, so I'm gonna look through those. Okay, so what's contained in a C-file? Well, your service records are in there, right? So you've got your service history, your discharge date, your medical records from when you were in service, also your rating decisions. Like if you have 3 or 4 denials, they're all going to show up in there. All that documentation is going to show in there. So you're going to be able to go back and you're going to be able to look at those things and make decisions based on them, right? So all communication between you and the VA, whether it be through the messaging on the app, all of anything you've mailed to them and they've mailed back, etc., all of that's in there. Your exam reports from your CMP exams are supposed to be in your C-file. Make sure that if you do go request your C-file, and I'll tell you what you need to do later on in this video. So, and then there's supplementary evidence. So your buddy statements, other things like that that you've put out there. Hey, here's some supplemental evidence. Here's more proof. Here's this, here's that. Here's a buddy statement. Here is a doctor's DBQ. Here's a nexus letter. All those things are going to end up in there. So those are the things that are inside your C-file. Now, why is that important? That is important for a couple reasons, right? Number one, it helps you really understand where you're sitting with regards to all of your claims. It really shows you everything that the VA has to look at. So here's an example of where that becomes very critical as you're about to go and apply for an increase on a disability, right? You know exactly where you sit on that disability and what's in your C-file. If there's anything in your C-file that could be derogatory towards your or negative towards your disability increase, the VA can take that into consideration and say, no, you can't have an increase, and as a matter of fact, we don't think you're 30%. We're going to suggest that we get a re-exam to get you down to 10%, or 50 to 30, or 70 or 100 down to 50. So this information is critical for you to have. Can't stress it enough. How often do you want to get your C-file? Well, it depends on how active your claims are, right? If you have 5 claims that you've put in the last 6 months, and they've all come back denied, get your C-file, because you're going to want to see all those claims put together with all the evidence that's out there, with all the medical history, and you'll be able to go through and pick things out. For example, I have hearing loss, and with my hearing loss, you know, there was a going into the military, there was a hearing test. There was one at the end of boot camp, which was a hearing test. There was one when I left the service. And when I left the service, it was 15 to 20% worse than when I went into the service. So right then and there, I was able to say, okay, listen, we've got some evidence here that shows in my medical records that this is what has happened, right? So I've got the medical record, I've got the, coming through MEPS, I've got all of that stuff is listed out in one file. I can take that, pick and choose those pieces, and then I can take those pieces and put in a claim and say, hey, you should have given me X, hearing loss rated at 30, 50, whatever percent, but I don't know that this was all taken into consideration according to the rating guidelines that you have. This is what it states. This is why I think I fit this category, right? And you can add that supplemental claim. And then if you can get your private doctor to do a DPQ, make sure that they can do a DBQ and that they will do it the proper way. There are changes with the DBQ acceptance, per se, that are out there that need to be discussed. So there are specifics that private DBQs have to have on them: name, be able to be communicated with, what their titles are, what the, all that stuff. There's a list out there of that, and hopefully I'll be able to get that to you soon. There are other channels out there that I watch for veterans information. They've already covered that. If you're interested, look up the CivDiv, THECIVDIV. They have a video out there specifically addressing that DBQ as stuff as well. So the other thing is that you can go into your C file and you can see if there's errors. I haven't found many errors, but I have found one or two in my C file, and I quickly brought that to their attention and said, hey, this is wrong. This is absolutely wrong. I would like a re-exam, or, this is something that's incorrect, updated with proper information. Here's the real, the real about what was done. The big piece about it, though, for me is that as we get further and further down the road in today's society, we all know that hacking happens. We all know that systems can be brought to their knees. We all know that with the technology comes a risk. So for me, what I like to do is I like to request one every so often, depending on my activity with my claims and my correspondence with the VA. And I like to pull that C file down. I'll pull down my VA medical records. I'll put them into my safe, right? Fireproof safe, paper copies, replace them every 6 months or a year. You're good to go. So anyways, that's a C file. You need your C file. How do you get a C file? Freedom of Information Act, FOIA request. Go out to the VA disability site, put in your FOIA request. They will get back to you. It may take time, but it may also move very, very quickly for you. There are alternatives to this. There's phone numbers that you can call and you can say, hey, I really need this in an expedited way. Here's my email address, etc. Go put that FOIA request in, get your C file, be informed, make good decisions. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Take care.